Okay, I've got the final drive over here now, and I've spent most of the morning tidying it up, and I've done both of them. And yeah, I probably spent about 4 hours wire brushing them and cleaning these, and a couple of the studs on the diff housing had come out, so we've cleaned them and Loctited them back in. And so now it's time to just get this housing ready to pop back on. Now I'm doing the right hand side one first, and by doing the right hand side one, we can actually set the collar for the diff lock up in and a few things like that, and just see how we go with it anyway. So what I'm going to start doing is we'll pop a little bit of grease down in the hole where the diff lock shaft goes. Now if you remember when I pulled it apart, that was C-solid, and I had to belt puggery out of this to get it to loosen up. So I'll just put my knee in the shot and get a bit of rag here. Okay, so look, what we need to do here is just have this flush. So I've just got a socket. Now you can hear that's gone right home, and when we look at the shaft here, there's a little line just there. You can see a little dark line. That's how far this goes on. So by putting it flush, we've just got it sitting down in this nice surface here. Okay, that's it. Like I say, this here we're not going to worry about too much. We do have a bolt that can go through, but we don't actually know exactly where that's going to sit yet, so there's no use getting too. Now on the lower linkage pin here, that's this fella here, that's what your arms go on. There's a taper that draws in on the taper, and then there's a nut that holds it on. And these tractors standard had category 1, which is 7/8. Now the arms on this tractor are crooked. I'm going to have to weld new ends onto them. So I've chosen to do category 2. So the taper is the same, but this pin all of a sudden gets a little bit wider, and it goes up to 1 1/8". So we'll have to get a 3/4 castellated nut to put on that, but that is a lot stronger, and I'm going to do the same on the tractor on the 135 multi-power, and some of the remote trekking we're looking at doing in the future, we're actually going to, well, we've heard about people taking with these pins in, and with the vibrations and that over some of the rough roads, like these are 4-wheel drive tracks that we will be getting out on, and yeah, they'll these have actually broken off. So what we need to do is get the nut gun, and we'll rattle that off. So we'll just undo the thread here. That's the thread. And now there we go. Rough as guts engineering here. But you've got to give that a fair old thump to get them out. And then to get the other one back in, we have to clean this hole. That's a washer there. We have to clean this hole out, so we'll use a bit of brake cleaner. Make sure it's nice and clean. There's a washer of clean while that's drying in the air. The nut's reusable, it's a crimp lock nut, so we'll Loctite it on anyway. And the main taper here, so he'll come up through there. So we'll just give him a bit of a hit with the brake clean. Clean him all up. This is feeling good. You hear the shed creaking? Looks like a cloud's come over, it might rain or something. Right, so before we put this pin in, there's a couple of things we need to look at. Now, the first one is the nut that holds the linkage arm on. Now, if we draw a line across here from these two bolts and come down the centre, that's the down position on this final drive. So what I try and do, because it's a castellated nut that holds the arm on, I try and have that so that you can do the nut up, put a pin in, and the pin just wants to stay there. It's not going forward, backwards, it's just straight up and down. So what I'm going to do is just get a bit of retaining compound. We don't want to be scabby with this stuff. And with this hole going straight up and down, we bring him up into the housing, put the washer on, a little bit of stud lock, and start that nut. And we'll rattle him off again. Trying to make sure that that it stays straight up and down underneath here, so I like to just hold onto him with a pair of multi grips on the pin, and that way I can actually feel if it's turned. A little bit more by the feel of it. That is tight. A bit of a clean up here. Now the axle seal down the other end we don't do at this stage. We can play with the diff lock, and there's also on the diff lock there's a couple of little pegs that actually hold this piece in here. So we can, oh pardon me, I'll just get across and you can line that up and put that there. But Look, we can do that later once it's in there. It saves us trying to hang on to it and keep everything all organised. So we'll take them out so we don't lose them. They can go over in the housing, on the diff housing here. And look, that's about all we're going to do to this at this stage. While we're on this right hand side, we'll cut the video, we'll get ready to go back on, and I'll just put a bit of grease around the gasket there, and we'll lift this on and put a stand under it so it's ready to put the diff centre in from the other side. Okay, we've got our axle done. Now we're going to actually lift him up and put him on. I've got a little safety stand sitting down here, so what we're going to do first up is just run a bit of grease on the gasket. Now that's all you need. If you're relying on gasket goo in a place like this to stop oil leaking out, you need to go back and clean the housings better. So by using grease on the gasket, it helps the gasket stay in place. It lubricates both surfaces so it won't get stuck there if it ever does have to come off. And when you're planning on painting a tractor like I am, you can run around the joint there with a little bit of petrol and a paintbrush and clean any grease off so the paint sticks. Or you can wipe it over with a thinner's rag around the joint so you know everything's going to stay there. So it's a good thing to do. I believe it is anyway in this particular case. Now I'll put the grease down over here. So we have to get this lined up. So it looks like that there would be the place. I just need to shift this microphone a little bit. Okay, that's done. I'm leaning way over in here. Probably in your road, really. Go on, get on there. You push one on too far, the rest don't want to line up. And then we just got to work it on gently without tearing it. So go. If you do get a little tear, it doesn't matter, as long as you can keep this inside surface okay, but it's best not to have any. Okay, you've got to be happy with that. Alright, now I have to have a bit of a lift. So come and give us a hand, will you? Now where are we? There's the hole starting there. So that wasn't hard, was it? Now, we'll just get a couple of bolts started, just to make it secure. One up the top here somewhere. And one down the bottom just for good measure. Now we should be able to just tighten the top and the front and the back here, hopefully. That wants to come up nice and square. And by putting the right hand side on first, that lets us lift the crown wheel in because we've already got the bearing in the housing here. So we're using the same bearings. Well, I couldn't see anything wrong with them, so we've gone with that. And that there is not coming off. Now when you're a fussy prick like me, I'll go around there now and I'll trim all that gasket off, just because I can't help myself. I don't like rattling bolts up. I did on that pin down the bottom there because I want that really tight, like hammered up hard. So, but you'll notice I did start the nut with my fingers down there to make sure it was lined up. They have young blokes working for me that rattle everything up, and yeah, they don't see if it's right or not before they go. So there you go. Now the diff lock pedal, that's nice and loose still, so we can position that wherever we see fit. And also, I'll try and work out where it is compared with the other tractor, and it usually comes somewhere around between these two bolts here, just down to the bottom a bit, so probably somewhere there would be okay. And at this stage, that shaft can still move just a little bit, so I can come in round from the other side and hold it back in as we do the bolt up if we need to. So the side of the shaft here, or the side of the lever here, sits up against that hardened bush right up over there. So once that shaft's brought this way, it can't move anywhere, and this holds it in place from going inside. So look, that's it. I'm going to run around and do these bolts up and tidy them up and run around here. And well, I mightn't do the tidy up the gasket part just yet. No real need. And that's sitting pretty good on the stand here, just to make sure it doesn't want to fall off. Okay, right hand final drive's on. I might come back and just show you when it's all when I've got all the little nick bits done. Okay, I've got it all bolted up, and a bracket I didn't show you before was the diff lock bracket. So I've actually had a look at the diff lock, and we can press the pedal down and the return spring comes up, and that's right up. I can't lift it any higher because I've got the yoke and all in around the other side. So that's one done. Now around the other side, I'm not sure if you can see it, I'm not sure I've got the light good enough, but I've got a torch here I might be able to shine in. There you go. So that's a diff lock collar in. Now this fella here, he just goes back and forth when I push the diff lock pedal, and I may be able to show you that if I have a bit of a fiddle here. Where are we? You haven't got a very good light, have you? But anyway, push that in and out and up she comes. You've got to be careful you don't actually drop it out. To get that top pin in, I actually had to pop a bit of grease on it and hold it up in for there. So at this stage we can put the crown wheel and pinion in. That's your crown wheel carrier bearing, and it'll run on the pinion here, so it has to go in first, and then we can sort out what we do with the rest.